Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is May 19th, 9 a.m. Eastern. We've got the SPY bulls holding up here. We've got all 5-minute moving averages as support, and the key level that we're going to be watching is the high of yesterday of 237.75 to see if the bulls can break that level and see this bounce continue to play out. We have lots of individual names that closed up at their highs of yesterday that are seeing gap up opens today. The tech sector is seeing some strength first thing. So I keep talking about putting names in different categories of strength. So names that break their high of yesterday are automatically going to be put in a stronger category for the bulls than names that have yet to break that resistance. So that's going to distinguish names and the strength on these bounces. So we have names like NVDA and Tesla and all these names that are setting up to potentially gap up open today. And the question is going to be, can they break the high of yesterday? And if they can, if they're gapping up open, they obviously are, they're looking at the high of the dump day. And any name that can break the high of the dump day has completely shaken off that weakness and fear that struck the market back on Wednesday. So SPY hourly time frame, this 20 period is going to be key. We grinded against it and held it at the end of the day for the bulls on SPY. So that 20 period is 236.58. So if we cannot break the high of yesterday of 236.70 or make that 237.75 and we start to lose these 5-minute moving average supports, then we know that the bears are seeing a bit of strength. And if we lose that hourly 20 period moving average support, that is a much more significant indication that the bulls have lost their bounce momentum. So as long as these 5-minute moving average supports hold, the bulls see control, and they need to break that high of yesterday, the sooner the better, to get that out of the way and to convince the bulls that they do still have continued momentum. So looking at SPY on the daily time frame, so we have the exponential resistance to be watching that rejected the high of yesterday. And if we get over that high of yesterday, then we'll be looking back at the high of the dump day, 238.64, but still some work to do over 237.75. That is the resistance level to be watching today. Looking at the dollar, we had a bear break of an inside bar on the daily time frame, breaking the low of yesterday, seeing continuation to the downside, lowest prices we've seen in a few months, and the bears remaining in control of the dollar. And in response to that, we see gold bulls trying to bounce. We had a big pullback day yesterday on a lot of bear volume, but we're holding that low, and the bulls are trying to bounce at this point. Very key support down in the 1246 range. That's a little double bottom the last 2 days, and we'll see if the bulls can see continuation by hitting higher highs. We know there's an inverse correlation to the market more often than not, and if we see the market bears take over and we pull back, unable to break the high of yesterday, we will see the gold bulls head back up to the high of yesterday. Silver doing the exact same thing, recovering from a bearish day yesterday. Likely that silver forms an inside bar today on the daily time frame, but possible that we could see continuation. Again, it depends on what the market does, and if we see the inability to break that high and we start to take out some support levels, silver is going to be looking up at the highest price that we've seen on this resistance, or on this bounce, I should say, and I'm looking at 1694 and 1702 as the levels the bulls want to break. Going to be watching volume compared to that bear volume yesterday. Oil, very bullish follow through. This is the daily time frame. We were in a range for 3-4 days, and now we're seeing follow through to the upside. Really nice bounce yesterday. Double bottom down at $48. Oversold bounce. They got a ton of momentum behind it, and here we are grinding against $50 resistance. So a 4% move in 24 hours. And we're looking at the higher low pattern. If we break 49.68, that's a red flag in the short term with a rejection of $50 and a loss of that support level. And that would break the higher low on the hourly time frame. But as of right now, oil bulls seeing a lot of strength and follow through. And the daily time frame zooming out, we have that, or actually let's look at the weekly time frame, that uptrend support line held for the bulls, and we're confirming the bullish reversal candlestick, and we're watching this downtrend resistance line. That's all the way up in the $52 range, but there's a tightening lower high, higher low pattern that's going to give oil a nice clear weekly break sometime in the next 6 weeks or so, I would estimate. Natural gas bulls are just trying to barely cling to support. 314 was key support, and we formed a higher low at 316.1. Bulls must turn it around. If we break 314, we break the daily higher low pattern, and the bears take over. So the bulls are trying to see as much upside as they can today, looking for a bullish reversal candlestick. And as of right now, we are up at the high of the day, so the bulls are seeing some momentum, just trying to defend that support. Cryptocurrency space is on absolute fire. Yet again, Bitcoin is up over 50% in 1 month. It's hitting all-time highs again. It's up significantly the past few days. Personally, I'm in Ethereum. We've been partying all night in the cryptocurrency chat room because Ethereum is up over 20% in 15 hours, hitting all-time highs and exploding to the upside. And we're now up in just a month over 100%. So huge gains to be had. Cryptocurrency, a lot of fun trading that. Blue sky breakout, a lot of hype there. And a lot of members getting in their first cryptocurrency trade yesterday into ETH down in the 90s and low 100s and seeing really big short-term gains. So at this point, I want to be very cautious entering. I would not suggest an entry up at these levels. I am anticipating a sell the news event early or late this weekend or early next week, and I personally will be selling and looking to reload. But as of right now, the bulls are enjoying full control currently. So let's get into some 5-minute setups. We have plenty of strong names to be watching where if the SPY bulls do break their high of yesterday of 237.75, we will be looking at continuation. And those names, just off the top of my head, are the tech names, Facebook, Apple. We've got Tesla strong, NVDA. So plenty of bulls to be keeping an eye out on. And I would not be surprised to see an inside bar form on a lot of these charts, being a Friday, anticipating lower volume and tightening ranges. So if SPY can't break 237.75, I would anticipate an inside bar on the daily time frame, which would give us a nice setup to be watching into Monday. So let's get into these 5-minute setups, and we will start it off with Win and Baidu. So Win is starting with all 5-minute moving averages as support. Not a ton of pre-market activity going on in terms of volume, but the bulls are pleased with where we are starting. So looking at the daily time frame, high of yesterday was 123.75, and we are going to be testing that level first thing. So 123.75, if we break that level, the next resistance is going to be up at 126.65. So the bulls seeing some nice follow through, but they need to see a convincing break of the high of yesterday. And again, that's going to put them in a separate category. Any name that breaks their high of yesterday is going to be stronger than any name that has not done so. So support on Win, we're going to be looking at the hourly time frame. We have some resistance here on the hourly as well at 123.78, lining right up with the high of yesterday. And we did reject from these moving average resistances yesterday. So a key test first thing this morning, 20-period hourly support is down at 122.03. Checking in on Baidu, which was struggling yesterday. Didn't really see a pickup in correlation with the bulls for Baba. The Baba bulls showed up. We're going to see if the Baidu bulls can play laggard here. 183.62 is the high of yesterday. We're going to test that first thing. There's a gap to fill at 185.68. Let's see if Baidu bulls catch up to Baba, which had a really strong buying of the dip yesterday, and we're looking for the Baidu bulls to try and fill that gap to 185.68. Last 5-minute moving average resistance is 184.97, and the bulls seeing a nice start to the morning right up at the high of yesterday. And we must be cautious on all these names if SPY does not break their high of yesterday, because that would mean limited follow-through for the bulls. FL is getting crushed pre-market. 20-period 5-minute moving average support is 64.15. Hourly RSI is down at 9. So an oversold bounce, we can be scouting that, but the 20-period 5-minute moving average has to become support in order for the bulls to be looking for that bounce to play out. We're down at $62, so on the weekly time frame, support is down at... Key breaks of support are going on here. We're breaking lots of support that has been established over the past year. I'm looking down at 60 psychological as the next support, and we're taking out very key support levels from back in October 2016 and January. Bears in full control of FL. CMI. Not much going on pre-market. Don't have a lot of information there, but looking at yesterday, it was a bullish reversal hammer off the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average has held the last 4 tests in the past 3 weeks, and the bulls want to break 152.71, looking good here pre-market, to try and confirm this reversal candlestick. There's a little gap to fill at 153.24. That will be the first bullish target, and the bulls are looking for a solid green day to confirm this bullish reversal hammer and try and see some follow-through to the upside on this bounce. NVDA is a lead bull today. We're going to be testing this all-time high. And as anticipated, the market bulls buying the dip really right out of the gate yesterday and seeing tons of follow through and a really strong close. So we're seeing a gap up open today. The all-time high is 137.30. We're right at that level. Break 137.30 and we're looking at 138 and 139 psychological resistances, and the bulls are in absolute full control of NVDA, and we closed yesterday with all hourly moving averages as support, and now we're riding exponential supports to the upside. All-time high test is coming this morning. First thing on NVDA, watch those other semiconductors, MU and AMD, as potential laggard plays to follow along with clearly bullish activity in that space. PANW 20-period 5-minute support is 117.31, gap up open after the bullish reversal. Doji yesterday holding moving average support. Resistance is going to be 118.43. And then we're looking up at 120 from there. If we cannot hold the 20-period 5-minute moving average on the gap up open, we need to be cautious of profit taking. That's a must-hold level for the bulls to show strength and follow-through after the gap up. AAOI also seeing strength pre-market. Support is 64.34, the 20-period 5-minute moving average. Solid bull day yesterday with a bullish engulfing candlestick. And looking at 65.30 as the high of yesterday. If we can break that level, looking at 66.40 and 67.01 as a couple resistance levels. And then we're heading to all-time highs if we can break those. And actually need to make sure we're at all-time highs. Highest price in the past 3 months, and yes, that is all-time highs. So the bulls are really strong and seeing a recovery, and they want to break 65.30 first thing right out of the gate to give those bulls that confidence. CLVS, also a very strong end of the day yesterday and a strong bull close. And we are looking at a gap up open here today. So we need to hold the 20-period 5-minute of 54.76, but the gap fills at 54.97. So we would fill that gap on the daily to the downside before we even test the 20-period 5-minute. And that's due to a lack of pre-market action for the moving averages to catch up. So resistance from here will be the 100-day moving average in the upper $57 range. And we rejected from that back on May 4th. So that is the next resistance. And the 50-day moving average is going to be right where the 100-day moving average is as well. So gap up open, need to hold 5-minute moving average supports in order to remain strong after the open. CPN, very strong end of the day with bull momentum, riding the upper Bollinger Band resistance with a very strong daily chart after confirming a bull flag. And resistance is 1337. If we can break that level, we have to update the daily upper Bollinger Band, as that's going to be the next resistance level that we look at. And the weekly 100-week resistance is 1368. So that would be a level to watch along with the daily upper Bollinger Band. The daily upper Bollinger Band rejected the high of yesterday, so we need to be watching that level as potential resistance. So Facebook and Tesla seeing lots of strength this morning. And for Facebook, the high of yesterday was up at 148.15. So we're seeing a gap up open, but we have the 20-period 5-minute moving average as resistance. If we cannot get over that 20 period at the open or before the open, we will look to fill that gap back to the downside at 148.15. Resistance from pre-market is going to be 148.90 and 149.10. And then the high of the dump day, that's 148.67. So we're already breaking that level. There's a gap at 149.03 to the upside. And the gap to the downside is 148.15, and the 20-period 5-minute will dictate which gap we look to fill first, which right now would favor a bearish gap fill first, but we have to see where we open relative to that 20-period 5-minute. Tesla, tons of strength. We saw that strong close yesterday, and the bull momentum is following through. So the resistance was 313.94, a gap up open. High of the dump day was 314.63. We're over that level as well. So the 20-period 5-minute moving average needs to hold to keep the bulls in control, 315.69. High of pre-market is 316.75. And then we're looking up to 320, which is a little double top from earlier this week. So if the bulls can hold this 20-period 5-minute and head to higher highs first thing this morning, 320 is the next target to be looking at. Bulls showing a lot of strength pre-market. NUGT, bulls also at the high of pre-market. So keeping a close eye on the correlation here, because the correlation is shifting where we have the market bulls seeing a higher open and we have the bull miners seeing a higher open as well. So that changes when the bell rings. Usually we see the correlation go back to inverse. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Support for NUGT is down at 34.83 from pre-market. And resistance, we're going to be looking at the high of yesterday, which is still a long way to go, 36.56. So entirely possible we see an inside candlestick on these bull miners today. The key resistance is going to be that high of yesterday. And also watching where we're set up on the hourly. Bulls are trying to turn all hourly moving averages back into support for NUGT. XBI was the strongest sector on my screen yesterday and finished with a really strong move for the bulls. Resistance is going to be up at 70.27, and then we're looking up at 70.78. If the bulls can break 70.78, we break a lower high pattern on the daily. We have a lower high and a higher low in a tightening range. So we're watching to see that 70.78 resistance break for the biotech bulls to be back in full control on the daily time frame. Support here is the low of consolidation from yesterday afternoon, 69.48. The bulls would love to hold that level throughout the morning to show their strength. WB, 20-period 5-minute moving average is support. Bulls want to hold that to remain in full control. 81.41 on this gap up open. Really strong follow through for the bulls. We closed at the high of the day yesterday. So all of these names that closed at the high with momentum in their favor are seeing follow through. And we're at all-time highs here. So resistance is psychological, 82.40. Make that 82.50. 83, 83.50, 84, so on and so forth. Update the daily upper Bollinger Band at the open. The bulls need to continue closing above that level, and we need to hold that 20-period 5-minute moving average to remain in full control after the open. PCLN was the weakest name that I looked at through any of the major names that we follow on the daily chart. So rejecting from exponential resistance yesterday, closing at the low of the day, absolutely no bull momentum. And if we break the low of yesterday down at 1791, I'm looking at the next level down at 1774. So the bears are in control of PCLN at this point. The bulls are barely trying to cling on to the 50-day moving average support, which is going to be at about 1797 today. But this is a very weak name. It is the weakest name out of any name on my screen over 20 tickers. So we do need to be cautious, as the bulls couldn't put any kind of momentum together yesterday. Momo is trying to hold its 20-period moving average support. That level is at 42.37 with a gap up open here as well. All-time high, we've actually got resistance at 42.63. Aya pre-market is then 42.89, and then the all-time high, 44.59. Update the daily upper Bollinger Band at the open. It rejected the high of yesterday, and the bulls are going to be testing that resistance level again today. If we lose the 20-period 5-minute moving average at the open, we're going to be looking to fill the gap back to the downside at 41.95. BAC, 22.82 is support. Resistance is 22.89 and 22.97. A big upper wick of profit taking yesterday on the bounce. The bulls have to break $23 to see follow through. It's an inside bar on the daily time frame. A bear break occurs at 22.50. A bull break occurs at 23. So we're closer to a bull break than we are to a bear break, but we have to see that range break. Otherwise, we could see another inside bar on the daily time frame. Again, we are anticipating volume to continue to drop off and ranges to tighten a bit. Besides those really strong bulls that saw all momentum in their favor at the end of the day yesterday, there are a bunch of names that are likely to see sideways trading while we reach an equilibrium after that big dump back on Wednesday. Amazon is such a strong daily chart. You look at that Amazon daily chart and there is no market dump. You would never expect that the market had a very significant pullback day, and that's because Amazon bulls have done such a good job of holding on strong. So resistance was the high of yesterday of 962.75. We're seeing a gap up open, so we know the 20-period 5-minute is key. That's at 963.25, and we're looking at the all-time high as the next, really the only resistance here, 970.06. So the fact that the Amazon bulls have done a 180, well, they didn't even need to do a 180 in terms of turning around the momentum, because the bears never broke the higher low pattern on the daily. So we're looking right back at the all-time high. Amazon is a lead bull for sure. And if we do get a new all-time high, 975 resistance will be the next level that we look at. We're going to be cautious on Twitter just because we did break the higher low pattern. We are seeing a significant higher open, but breaking 1815 support showed weakness yesterday, and we did break the higher low pattern on the daily. So resistance, 1861. We're seeing a small gap up open. 20-period 5-minute support is 1862. I do anticipate to form a lower high on this bounce, but that lower high could occur in the low $19 range. I'm just looking for a lower high compared to 1979 and then to consolidate back down to the low $18 range. So as of right now, bulls have momentum. We'll see how much follow through we can get over the high of yesterday. $19 psychological resistance, a level to watch. Just cautious as we did break the higher low pattern for the bulls on the daily time frame after such a significant past 3 weeks of trading for the bulls. REGN, bulls in full control yesterday. Nice follow through of higher lows and higher highs. Resistance is 462.90. Make that 462.96. Also looking at some 5-minute resistances here at 459.85 before we get to that high of yesterday. And the bulls really want to hold this low of consolidation from the morning yesterday of 450.76. That's an important level. If we break 450.76, we're heading down to the low of yesterday, and we'll be testing exponential daily support. It's a really strong daily chart for REGN bulls. If the biotech bulls keep up the strength that they saw yesterday in the sector, that will certainly help REGN see continuation. So the range to be watching first thing is that low of 450.76 and that high of 459.85. AMAT, bulls in full control with 20-period 5-minute moving average support of 45.05. High of yesterday was 44.10, so a gap up open. And then we're looking at the high of the dump day. We're above that level. So the high of this bull move is up at 45.08, and we're gapping up above that as well. So a complete recovery. Again, plenty of stocks showing absolutely no signs of a dump. And the weekly upper Bollinger Band is 4407, looking to close above that in breakout mode. This is a really strong stock at all-time highs, and we need to hold that 20-period 5-minute moving average at the open for this gap up strength to hold. ADSK, another gap up. 20-period 5-minute, 107.58 must hold. Pretty much the identical chart here with these two names. And I assume they're in the same sector. But even if not, it's extremely strong. We're at all-time highs are up at 98.05. And we are well above that level. So the 20-period 5-minute moving average needs to hold or we will see profit taking. Resistance is going to be up at 110 psychological and then psychological resistance levels after that. So XBI already did it. The bulls are looking strong. Strong day yesterday. Need to break that high of yesterday and see follow through up to 70.76 resistance on the daily time frame, which is a key level for the higher low, lower high pattern. It's actually 70.78 that is that resistance. SRPT, liking SRPT for the bulls, especially with the bullish biotech sector. 20-period 5-minute support is 36.22. 36.35 was the high of yesterday. We're testing that first thing. And then 37.09 is the next resistance on the daily time frame. Bulls off to a strong start, breaking the high of yesterday. Bullish MACD cross on the daily, looking for follow-through and a nice slow and steady pace for these bulls over the past 2 weeks. And looking to end the week on a strong note here. SINA. Lots of strong charts this morning. 20-period 5-minute support is 102.42. Extremely strong daily chart. And resistance 102.39. So a gap up open is coming here. Weekly time frame has us at all-time highs. So the bulls in full control. High at pre-market is 104 resistance. Then we're looking at 105. Bulls need to hold the 20-period 5-minute at the open to see strength and follow through on this gap up open. SPWH. 20-period 5-minute resistance is 528. Bulls bought the dip significantly yesterday, and we're seeing a gap up open in response. 20-period 5-minute needs to hold. We just got above it here, 527. Must hold the first couple candlesticks this morning in order for the bulls to see follow through to the upside. The next resistance we're looking at is the daily upper Bollinger Band. Update that at the open. It's going to be in the upper 5 teens, and we actually might start the day above it. So the next resistance, 523. We're above that. So breaking to higher highs on the daily time frame, good sign for the bulls. 535 and 550 are the next two resistances on the daily time frame. INTC, checking the daily chart compared. And I don't like INTC just because, well, we have a clear support level to be watching. But this chart is not anywhere near as strong as a bunch of the other semiconductors. I would much rather play NVDA and MU if bullish. And we're just seeing 2.5 weeks of straight dumpage on INTC. So the support base is down at 35 psychological. It's a potential bottom fishing play with that level. But again, if you're going to be playing in the sector and you're playing the sector bullish, you want to be playing the names that have nice, strong bullish charts. And right now we would have to see almost a 10% move, an 8% move to the upside to see higher highs on this daily chart. So at this point, the bulls are just doing everything they can to defend $35. Resistance is the 200-day moving average of $35.50, and the bulls were unable to even test that level yesterday. It's an inside bar on the daily time frame, 35.08 support and 35.47 resistance, but not seeing much action from the bulls. So SHOP is seeing a downtrend of lower highs and lower lows here pre-market. High of yesterday was 92.98, so we're still up near that level. 90.05 is the last 5-minute moving average support. Bulls want to hold that level, and they have to break the lower high, lower low pattern once the bell rings to turn things around. Otherwise, the bears could take control. If we can't break that high of yesterday, we will likely see a bit more profit taking. NVDA checking back in here pre-market. Bulls in full control, all-time high test coming. So Baidu resistance 184.91, and we're watching for a break of the high of yesterday, which looks good. And then we're looking for a gap fill at 185.68. SRPT. So 36.22 is the key support on SRPT. That 20-period 5-minute moving average just did it. So we're looking for follow-through to the upside to break that high of yesterday. Apple here pre-market is losing the 20-period 5-minute moving average. So on a gap up open, high of yesterday was 153.34. It's not a significant gap up open, so we will be looking to fill that gap fairly quickly, losing this 20-period 5-minute moving average. And resistance is going to be the high of the dump day. That's at 154.57, along with the high of pre-market of 153.95. If we consolidate, we're looking at the hourly 20 period. That's a ways down. That's at 152.41. So we have 5-minute moving average supports before that. Key Apple supports here pre-market, 153.30 and then 153.04. Losing a bit of momentum here, seeing some pullback. Let's see if some other tech names are seeing that as well. Facebook is a bit, but not significantly. Amazon is not at all. Amazon's going for the all-time high today. So NVDA and Amazon, all-time high candidates. MS has all 5-minute moving averages as support. Cautious of this financial sector to see if these bulls can show up. It was a weak day yesterday for MS with a rejection from the daily lower Bollinger Band. 41.88 is the level to break. It's an inside bar on the daily time frame. The support is 40.92 and resistance is 41.88. And we're starting with all 5-minute moving averages, so we'll see if the bulls can break that high of yesterday today. First thing. CRM. Very bullish chart pre-market. Bullish reversal candlestick yesterday. 88.40 was the high of yesterday, so a gap up open. Must hold the 20-period 5-minute of 90.18 on this gap up open to keep those bulls in control. And we're going to be watching resistance from here is up at 89.33. We're above that. So we're looking at the high of this bull move of 90.28, and we're above that as well. So a really strong gap up open, heading to higher highs for these bulls. Watch the weekly upper Bollinger Band. That's going to be right around $90. We'll see if the bulls can close above the weekly upper Bollinger Band by the end of the day. That would certainly show strength and momentum into next week. ROST, also very strong pre-market. 20-period 5-minute moving average is 63.27. A weak bounce over the past 2 days. Bears in full control on the daily, but the bulls are trying to show up here pre-market and break to higher highs. The high of this bounce had been 62.43, so we are seeing further upside. The daily middle Bollinger Band resistance is going to be right around $64. We're going to open today right at that daily lower Bollinger Band resistance. There's also previous support, now resistance, at 63.96. So there's a tough $64 little wall there right at the open. We'll see if the bulls can get over it first thing. Checking back in on SPY here, heading into the open. Bulls seeing control. High of pre-market is 237.41. If we break that level, 237.75, the high of yesterday will be the next thing that we look at. CMG is also one of the stronger names we're watching because we held the higher low pattern. It's a fine looking daily chart for those bulls. We're in a channel here at the end of the day yesterday trying to get over the 200 period 5-minute resistance. So the channel right now is 482.74 support, 486.69 resistance, and we're looking for follow through to the upside. We have to break that high of yesterday to see that follow through, 486.32. So that's going to be the 5-minute resistance is just above the high of yesterday. Need a solid green day to confirm the bullish reversal candlestick from yesterday and to keep the bulls in control of this daily chart. BRZU, a lot of volatility yesterday. Oversold bounce looks to be underway as we have all 5-minute moving averages as support. Huge dump day yesterday. Update the lower Bollinger Band daily resistance at the open. That is the level to be watching, and it's going to be right about where we opened today. We rejected just below it yesterday on the bounce attempt. We have to be watching that level. It is a very key resistance. Hourly resistance, getting over the 20-period 5-minute is a good start, and the high of yesterday all the way up at 29.53, but the daily lower Bollinger Band is going to come before that. So heading into the open here, we're going to zoom out real quick and check our individual names with Amazon strength first thing, NVDA strength first thing. We've got Tesla, Facebook seeing strength. We'll see if the biotech sector can break that high of yesterday first thing. And also watching the high of yesterday for the financial sector. Looks like the tech sector is going to see a small gap up open. And we're looking for Baidu. If we break 183.62, we're looking for that gap fill on the daily time frame. Baba is seeing a gap up open. Nice follow through from the bulls buying the dip on the bearish earnings reaction. And the highest price, the all-time high for Baba is 124.34. We're going to test that as well. So add Baba to the group of all-time high tests. So the bull miners are starting with some control. Need to be cautious. If the SPY bulls show up, I would expect the bull miners to consolidate a little bit. But right now on the 5-minute time frame, these bull miners look just fine. We're looking up at the highs of yesterday for bull miner resistance. So here we go with the open. It's all about SPY 237.75. And all of those names gapping up need to hold their 20-period 5-minute moving average support in order to remain in full control. Oil follow-through is certainly helping these market bulls. NVDA, that all-time high, has just been hit. Nice job by those NVDA bulls. BABA just came about 25 cents shy of an all-time high, so still not there just yet. And looking at the individual sectors, tech sector seeing strength, stronger than the financial sector first thing this morning. Already breaking the high of yesterday. Financial sector is right in the middle of the range yesterday. Inside bar on XLF, 23.29 would have to break for the bulls. If we see the financial sector break the high of yesterday, I would absolutely expect SPY to break the high of yesterday as well. Keep an eye on Amazon, up at the high of the day. $5 more till the all-time high. BABA's just 25 cents shy of its all-time high. And we've got Apple at the high of the day, Facebook at the high of the day, so those tech bulls seeing a strong start first thing. So at this point, it would require SPY breaking 237.09 in order for me to be cautious bullish. Inability to break the high of yesterday and a break of 237.09 would be the first red flag for the bulls. Did cover shop pre-market. We're in a channel on the 5-minute time frame, 90.04 support, 91.59 resistance. The bulls have to break the lower high pattern in order to turn things back around, and they're rejecting from exponential 5-minute resistances for the past hour of trading. So sectors at the highs of the day. Nice follow through for the biotech bulls. SRPT trying to break that high of yesterday, 36.35 to see continuation. Amazon dollar by dollar heading to that all-time high as NVDA hits 138 psychological resistance. BABA blowing through the all-time high. Nice follow through for those bulls. Baidu is still lagging behind. Baidu is not seeing that upside, but we are at the high of the day for Baidu, so keeping an eye on that gap fill. And again, that level on Baidu is 185.68. Twitter bulls out in full force. That's a great start for the bulls. Resistance is going to be 19 psychological. 20-period 5-minute support is 18.64, breaking the high of yesterday and seeing a strong start to the morning. As SPY is at the high of the day, heading towards that high of yesterday. Amazon's slow and steady bull looked great pre-market, seeing that follow through from the open. Facebook up over 149, also seeing a ton of strength. So where is that fear from Wednesday? Facebook has a little gap at 149.03. That just filled back to the upside. BABA up over 3%. Anybody buying that dip on the earnings reaction yesterday up very nicely in a short amount of time. WEED, CMG seeing nice follow through for the bulls as well. So WEED, this sector is not seeing any strength or any bullish momentum. Resistance is 831. Setting a lower high right now. Support is down at 794, setting a higher low. So we have a very tight range, very low volume inside bar on the daily time frame. On the daily, we have been rejecting from exponential resistance for the past month. And those levels need to continuously be updated on the daily, but the bears are in full control still of the sector. Watching X for that oversold bounce to play out, we must close over the 4-period exponential moving average resistance on the daily time frame to confirm the bullish reversal candlestick from yesterday. Must close over 1961 today for X. And BABA is continuing to explode. 126 is now resistance from here. Apple seeing a little bit of weakness. So Apple unable to get over the 20-period 5-minute moving average resistance. Support is 153.05. Cautious if Apple starts to pull back, we will look at other tech names to potentially follow along. We do want to be a bit cautious if Apple loses 153 support and heads back down, closing in on red. CMG is up at the high of the day. The next CMG resistance that we're looking up is up at 490 and 493.55. Checking back in on ETH, support on the shorter term timeframes now is 112.60. Seeing resistance at 113 and 114 psychological levels, but still higher lows on the 5-minute time frame if we can hold 112.60. So SPY Bull still in control with all 5-minute moving averages as support. NVDA new high, 138.50 next resistance. JDST weak, still exponential 5-minute moving average resistances, trying to hold the last 5-minute moving average support of 71.45, and we lose that level, and the bears take over significantly, likely to form an inside bar on the daily time frame today. I don't expect a ton of range in these minors today. We would have to break 74.73 for the bulls, and we would have to break 68.85 for the bears, and we're pretty much right in the middle of that range of yesterday. Baidu testing the high of the day. Baba is now pulling back $1 from its high, so we do need to be cautious in both Baba and Baidu. But the Baba bulls have tons of wiggle room to pull back because of such a strong start. Keeping an eye on Apple. If Apple breaks to a new low of the day, it will be a bit of a canary in the coal mine for the tech sector, at least the high beta tech sector names. Tech sector as a whole, XLK is still just fine, right under the high of the day. PANW, if you lose that 20-period 5-minute moving average at the open on a gap up, you look to fill the gap back to the downside. So the gap fill is down at 114.53. We do have some 5-minute supports, 115.49, 114.73. NVDA 20-period 5-minute support needs to hold for these bulls, 136.67. SPY's at the high of the day, heading to the high of yesterday. Nice follow through for the Baidu bulls, so definitely a bit of a laggard situation heading up to that gap fill. CMG's at the high of the day. Google's at the high of the day. Facebook and Netflix all at the highs. Tesla is off of its high a bit, almost $2 at this point. So Tesla is rejecting from the 20-period 5-minute moving average resistance. And after a gap up open, that shows weakness. The gap fills at 313.94, close to filling that gap to the downside on Tesla. Support would be 313.07 if we can't get over this 20-period 5-minute resistance. So tech sector following through up at the high of the day, seeing nice bull momentum, and we've got XLF closing in on the high of yesterday, but still a few pennies shy. Very similar correlation with XLF and SPY compared to their highs of yesterday. Baba heading back to the high of the day, or the all-time high. And Baidu is just a few pennies away from that gap fill now. So a nice $2 move from the open on Baidu, acting as a laggard to Baba's strength the past 2 days. Amazon's at the high of the day, closing in on the all-time high, still strong there. Facebook looking up at 150 psychological resistance from here. So all the sectors on my screen right now are at their high of the day: biotech, financial, and technology. But SPY has yet to break the high of yesterday, so still watching that resistance very close. CSX, all 5-minute moving averages are support. 50.35 is the 20 period. A little bit of resistance in the mid $50 range. Broke the high of yesterday only by a couple pennies. There's a gap to fill up at 50.94 if the bulls can see some follow through. Very little bear volume so far, so that's a good sign for the bulls, and we will be keeping an eye on that gap fill of 50.94. Facebook RSI on the 5-minute time frame is not overbought. It's at 66. So here's the financial sector testing the high of yesterday, as SPY is just 10 cents shy of its high. BABA continuation, 126 psychological resistance. And Tesla's down at the low of the day, so still seeing that weakness after the rejection from the 20 period 5-minute first thing. Tesla standing out as a lead bear compared to everybody else that's really strong. 313.11 is the next Tesla support. So here goes SPY to the high of yesterday as Tesla's at the low of the day. BABA continuation, now 126.50 is psychological resistance there. Certainly enjoying the freedom of blue sky breakout with lack of resistances. Financial sector is pulling back a couple pennies from the high of yesterday, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that top. And Tesla is now at its 5-minute support of 313.10. Lose that level, and we're looking down at 312.50, previous resistance, now support. So all the bulls still in full control, besides a couple weak names, as Tesla's on the verge of going red. CMG is also pulling back a bit from its high of the day. It's fairly close to going red as well. Watching XLF, inside bar forming on the daily time frame, and we're right in the middle of today's range. If XLF were to hit a new low of the day, and SPY has not broken the high of yesterday yet, that would be a red flag for the bulls. Seeing a bit of consolidation amongst the lead bulls first thing this morning. SPY 20 period 5-minute moving average support all the way down at 237.29. Bulls well above that level. So bulls taking a bit of the breather, but everything is still looking just fine across the board in terms of the sector strength and market strength. Only thing the bulls would hope for on SPY here is to just get that high of yesterday out of the way. We still have a lower high by 8 cents. GSM, bulls in full control. 20-period 5-minute moving average support there. All the way down at 895. The 5-minute RSI is up at 91, so we are overbought as we head to a key resistance of 929. That was the high of Wednesday. After 929, if the bulls can break that level, it's up at 963. But short-term consolidation likely with that 5-minute RSI. Twitter is healthy consolidation, just looking at the volume at this point, keeping the 20-period 5-minute moving average support. Bulls want to hold 1868. Losing that level from here would be a red flag in the short term. But looking at the volume and the moving average support still intact, with SPY at the high of the day, Twitter bulls are still holding on. Need to hold the low of this consolidation now, though. Nice follow-through for the biotech bulls. So CMG is now in the red, and Tesla has made a very strong bounce off of its 100-period 5-minute support. 313.16 was that support. And we're in a channel now on Tesla between the 100-period 5-minute support and the 20-period 5-minute resistance. Checking in on oil. Oil's still up at the high of the day. Definitely seeing strength there. Nice push through 50 for oil. Certainly helping the market bulls. X is very strong. We're looking to close over the 4-period exponential moving average resistance on the daily for the first time in a long time. 1967 is now that level. Resistance from here is 1995 and 20 psychological. Close here or better confirms the bullish reversal candlestick from yesterday on X, just looking for an oversold short-term bounce. Facebook consolidating. Bulls need to hold a 20-period 5-minute of 148.79. Otherwise, we're looking down at 148.33, the 100-period 5-minute support that the bulls held first thing this morning. So with SPY at the high of the day, we're seeing some of these lead tech bulls pulling back a bit off of their high of the day. Not significantly, but it is noteworthy. And potentially the energy sector, certainly the biotech sector, but the energy sector as well, giving the SPY bulls a bit of a lift. As SPY is testing the high of yesterday, 237.75, while XLF is near its high of the day, but XLK is a few pennies away from its high of the day. So it looks like this extra push for the SPY bulls, just breaking the high of yesterday. Great job for those bulls. Seeing some help from other sectors. Here comes XBI's key resistance test as the biotech bulls continue to follow through from yesterday. And that, again, is up at 70.78. Currently 7 cents shy from a key resistance on XBI. So SPY resistance from here, we're looking at 238. Amazon is a potential bull flag. The bulls want to hold the low of this consolidation now of 965.40. Breaking that level would be a red flag short term. But we're holding exponential support. SPY's at the high of the day. And Amazon bulls are hoping that they just took a little breather, consolidated, and now looking to try and head to the all-time high. XBI is now a double top at 778 key resistance. Bulls want to break through that level. You guys, nice bull break. So it is the energy sector. Oil and natural gas are both on fire today. Big follow through for these UGAS bulls, holding the higher low for natural gas on the daily. Resistance on UGAS is 20 and 2043. Nice bull break on XLF, so SPY and XLF right around the same time, breaking that high of yesterday. So checking in on SPY now, we've got the high of the dump day up at 238.64. That's the next resistance after 238. Win, very bullish increase in bull volume heading to higher highs. We held the 20-period 5-minute moving average at the open. And strong follow through. The next resistance on Win. Looking at the hourly, we're above hourly resistances, so I'm looking at 126.65, the high of the dump day. APC extremely strong. Bull flag on the 5-minute, looking for confirmation. Oversold bounce underway on the daily time frame. We're filling the gap. 54.13 is the daily middle Bollinger Band and the next clear resistance. Netflix bulls need to hold 156.68 to stay in full control on the 5-minute time frame. Very low bear volume this morning, which is a good sign for the bulls. So we're looking up at the high of the day resistance, 149.39. Bulls need to hold their low of the consolidation we just saw 10 minutes ago on these individual names. Amazon not seeing follow through with this market extra push to the upside right now, so we do need to be a bit cautious. A break of 965.40 on Amazon, and we would look to the 20-period 5-minute after that of 964.55. They're still holding on, just would have expected with this new push and new high of the day in the tech sector, in the financial sector, and in the market overall, would have expected Amazon to be heading back to the high of the day by now. Still possible. NVDA 20-period 5-minute tested every single 5-minute candlestick this morning. It's a must hold. 136.86. When we close below that level, it's going to shift the short-term momentum to the bears. We're still holding it, and we're looking up at the all-time high of 138.20, but that's a very key support level the bulls need to hold. Apple's in a channel with 153.08 support and 153.66 resistance. Moving averages on the 5-minute time frame perfectly dictating that channel so far this morning. Facebook losing the 20-period 5-minute moving average support. Not ideal for these bulls. Support is 148.55 and 148.34. So both Facebook and Amazon, after a strong start initially, not seeing the follow-through that you would expect. Upper wick of some profit taking on SPY, so we do need to be cautious on Facebook and Amazon. These names that did not see follow through when SPY hit a new high of the day. Now heading back to test their low of consolidation. Amazon just broke its low of consolidation, so now we're looking at the 20-period 5-minute. Tesla is still fairly weak. Bulls haven't really done anything on Tesla since the open. So the financial sector has surpassed the tech sector in terms of strength this morning. And if Apple loses its 20 or its 100 period 5-minute moving average support and heads to a new low of the day, definitely need to be cautious on Facebook and Amazon. Heading back down to test that support now on Apple. So biotech sector is now down 20 cents off of its double top. That's a very key daily resistance, so we need to be cautious of that as well. As Apple heads to the low of the day, Facebook heads to the low of the day. Let's see what gold and silver are doing. Market's still strong, so gold seeing that weakness since the open. Again, it's a common pattern this week where we see gold and the market both heading to the upside pre-market, and then once the bell rings, it's almost like gold gets a slap back down to see that inverse correlation pick back up again. Silver is stronger than gold right now on the hourly time frame, but it is too seeing a bearish reversal hourly candlestick. So Apple and Facebook are leading the way to the downside. Once Amazon broke that low of consolidation, it too is pulling back. Those three names are definitely seeing some correlation together. Nice gap fill on Baidu up at the high of the day. So that gap just filled, and we're now looking at 186 psychological resistance on Baidu. Google's still strong up near the high of the day. So that Google chart on the daily time frame, still strong, but we did break some of the higher lows with that dump day on Wednesday. So curious to see if we form a lower high compared to the all-time high. FL exponential resistance being tested. It's been resistance for an hour. And then the 20 period 5-minute of 61.52 after that. So VRX, a lot of weakness on increasing bear volume. Very notable bear volume compared to the first 10 minutes of trading. Resistance is 1, or make that 13.51, the 200 period 5-minute resistance. So certainly weakness in VRX, losing all 5-minute moving average supports. Apple is a bit of a descending triangle pattern on the 5-minute time frame, but really just using those moving averages, the 100 period moving average And the exponential resistance now on the 5-minute is driving the price to the downside as Apple tests the low of the day. So does Facebook. Amazon's not too far off from its low of the day as well. So SPY bulls are still in full control by a long shot. We still have exponential support for the entire morning. Very strong start for SPY. Hourly resistance on SPY is 238.51. So Apple is still defending that support. Lots of bulls still holding on. FAST, nice bull flag confirmed on the 5-minute time frame. The daily resistance from here is going to be up at 43.81. ETH, nice bull break on the shorter term time frame, heading back towards the high of the day. Resistance is 114, and then 114.77. So financial sector still up at the highs. Google at the high of the day as well. If Apple hits a new low of the day, we're going to be looking at Facebook and Amazon to follow along. Baba is now off $2 from the high of the day, so definitely seeing some significant consolidation there. Key support test for Baba, 124.11 is the 20-period 5-minute moving average. So here's Apple at the low of the day. Here's Facebook at the new low of the day. Amazon's heading down as well. Those three names. Facebook is a weak bounce attempt at this point. Hitting the new low of the day completely shifts momentum. So it's a potential bear flag on the 5-minute time frame, and resistance is 148.35, the 100 period 5-minute. And Facebook was the first to a new low of the day. Apple still hasn't hit it yet. But Facebook is showing weakness. Hourly support on Facebook is going to be 147.41, and we are rejecting from hourly 100 period resistance as well. All-time high test on ETH, 114.77 is approaching, just 30 cents shy. BAC, very, very strong. Exponential supports all morning. Breaking the inside bar to the upside at $23. And resistance from here on the hourly. All the way up at 23.56, the high of the dump day. 23.45 is the next target, as the financial sector bulls holding on strong all morning. Facebook hits a new low of the day. It will confirm that 5-minute bear flag as Apple tests its low. Twitter on the weekly time frame is a bearish reversal doji rejecting from the upper Bollinger Band. So it's after a huge move to the upside following earnings, so we do need to be cautious on Twitter up at these levels. And a red week next week would confirm that bearish reversal candlestick. Momo bulls in absolute full control, exponential 5-minute moving averages as support. We're looking up at the all-time high of 44.59 after 44 psychological resistance. Apple bulls are still defending the low of the day, just barely keeping in control. HK, very, very strong with all 5-minute moving averages as support, exponential the entire morning. Trying to break a downtrend on the daily time frame. 701 was resistance. After that is the 50-day moving average of 709. So SPY bulls very strong, hitting a new high of the day. Amazon bulls are still alive. And again, I'm using Apple as a gauge for Amazon and Facebook. And as long as Apple holds its low of the day, those bulls should hold on. VEEV getting really flat. 60.47 is support. High of the day is resistance. 20 period 5-minute moving average is catching up as well. So if we lose 60.47, we look to the 20 period 5-minute of 60.13. Amazon trying to turn things back around. Resistance is going to be 967.03 before the high of the day. NVDA support is down at 136.65. The 136.65 support, all-time high 138.20 is resistance. That's the channel to be watching between those two. So slow and steady for these bulls, holding on just fine. Apple recovering, trying to get back to the high of the day. Facebook lagging behind Apple. Amazon just sitting sideways. So Apple making a nice move on the 5-minute time frame. Defended its low of the day, hit a double bottom by 3 pennies. And a new high of the day would go a long way to giving the bulls some confidence. So new highs on SPY, new high on the financial sector, and the tech sector is right there as well. Biotech sector's pulling back from that double top. Some notable weakness there and closing in on the low of the day on the biotech sector, so we do need to be cautious there. Double top to the penny. QCOM bulls in full control the entire day with exponential moving averages as support. We just set a consolidation low of 57.06. We're in breakout mode on the daily time frame, and the next resistance is 57.53. NTES pulling back significantly. 20 period 5-minute support of 285.25 needs to hold for these bulls. Daily time frame is a big upper wick rejecting from the upper Bollinger Band just like yesterday, and we're down at the low of the day. So caution to the NTES bulls. That upper Bollinger Band resistance is tough 2 days in a row. So SPY, we're now looking at the high of yesterday, 238.64 key resistance. SPY 20 period 5-minute moving average still keeping the bulls. We're not even anywhere near it. We've been holding the 4-period exponential support with the entire morning on SPY. The 5-minute RSI is 84 on SPY. We need to be a bit cautious. Hourly resistance 238.51 approaching. So Apple closing in on its high of the day. Facebook bulls trying to follow along, but Facebook has 20 period 5-minute resistance of 148.64. Still a fairly weak bounce attempt on Facebook at this point. NVDA making a move back towards its all-time high. Google still hovering just below the high of the day. So SPY due for a bit of normal healthy consolidation, seeing a bearish reversal candlestick on the 5-minute. We'll watch to see if we lose exponential 5-minute support, which would indicate that consolidation is coming. VRX down at the low of the day. The bears in full control there. Apple just 13 cents from its high of the day. BAC on the weekly did defend support. We do have a higher low, lower high pattern. So the range is 22.46 support and 24.35 resistance right now on BAC. It was a potential bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern. The bulls defended the neckline of support, and they're seeing a lower wick of bulls buying that dip. So a tightening range on the weekly time frame for BAC. BTE.TO. Bulls in full control this morning. All bull volume compared to bear. 457 support on the 5-minute. Resistance is 461. I take that back. 464 and 471. WB, possible bear flag, 100 period 5-minute support, exponential 5-minute resistance. NVDA is a double top at the all-time high by 2 pennies. Need to be aware of that. 20 period 5-minute support is 137.18. Bull still in control, but it is a double top. LL 20 period 5-minute moving average support is 28.17. Upper Bollinger Band on the daily is 28.04. If we close below 28.04, we have a big upper wick of profit taking. So the bulls need to establish a new higher low here, hold this 20 period 5-minute, and head back towards the high of the day. So Google's still very strong for the bulls, 960 psychological resistance. And the biotech sector, a complete 180 turnaround with the bears taking over after that double top, and now at the low of the day and in the red. A very big turnaround from that double top. The thing's slowing down, but still holding just fine for these bulls. Amazon slowly trying to make its way back to the high of the day. Facebook also seeing a slow and steady bounce as Apple held its low of the day and is now 10 cents from its high of the day. NVDA is a double top by 2 pennies. But the bulls are still strong on NVDA. So nice SPY continuation, 5-minute bull flag being confirmed as it is now the tech sector. It's just the tech sector and the financial sector tag teaming for the bulls. One hits a high of the day, the other takes a breather, and then back and forth. As SPY is at its hourly resistance, 238.51. DE is very tight, keeping the 20-period 5-minute support of 120.53. The bulls need to break 121.31. And then we'll be looking at up to 123.75. So a little slow and steady, higher low, higher high pattern. We actually have a double top at the high of the day, 121.33 and 34. So those are key resistances that need to break for the bulls. SINA weak. Increasing bear volume as we're rejecting from the exponential 5-minute resistance. And the upper Bollinger Band support on SINA on the daily time frame is 101 on the dot. So we're coming to test that level after a bit of a gap and trap scenario where the bears have been in control all day since the gap up open. So the SPY bulls have held 4-period exponential moving average support since the open. That's a long time, an hour to be holding that support, showing a lot of strength as Apple hits a new high of the day. NVDA pulling back more significantly from its double top now. And NVDA support is 136.65 and then the low of the day. So a pretty significant pullback from that double top. 136.65 is key short-term support. GLYC 100-period 5-minute moving average support is 1163. Potential bear flag on this bounce attempt. The bulls have to hold that 100 period and get over the 5-minute moving average exponential resistances. Need to hold that low of the day. A big upper wick of profit taking, a bearish reversal candlestick on the daily time frame right now if we were to close here. Amazon key support now in the short term is 964.91 to keep the higher low pattern. By consolidating, testing the exponential 5-minute support, but still in full control. Oil bull still very, very strong. Oil's done nothing but go up all morning. Tesla's still weak. Low of the day in sight, rejecting from the 20-period 5-minute moving average resistance, 3 candlesticks in a row, uptick in bear volume as we're heading to the low of the day. And there's a wall of resistance in the low 315s, rejecting from the 315.20s 3 times before this pullback. Baba is getting very, very tight. Support on the 5-minute is 124.31, and resistance is 125 and 125.10. A break is imminent there in the next 15 minutes or so. Don't think the Baker oil rig report is significant. Have not seen it make significant impact in the past. Tesla defending the low of the day, so it's a battle between the 100-period 5-minute support, which has held 2 tests, and the 20-period 5-minute resistance, which has rejected the price 5 times. Really tight 5-minute channel on Tesla forming. So Baba and Tesla are setting up for a short-term move. And there's still no weakness in sight on SPY. SPY support, we had a little consolidation low of 238.15. If we were to break that level, the exponential supports on the 5-minute time frame would be in jeopardy. But even then, we got the 20-period 5-minute all the way down at 237.78. Support a ways away because of the strong start. So Amazon's just $1.50 from the high of the day now, slowly climbing its way back. For SPY to fill the gap back to the upside, we have to get to 239.63. Biotech sector continues to show weakness, down over $1 from the high of the day. CMG bulls are quietly heading to the high of the day. NVDA heading to the low after that double top. Very clear rejection from resistance. NVDA support is that level at 136.65. About to be tested. If we lose that, we have a double top and then we break the higher low pattern. SPWH 100-day moving average resistance is 579. The bulls want to close over that level to be their strongest. NKE bull move 51.79 is the last 200 period 5-minute moving average resistance. Gap down open, bullish reversal candlestick today. We have rejected from the daily lower Bollinger Band 3 days in a row. That level is 51.76 and we are at it right now. The bulls must close over this level to see strength heading into next week. GOOGL to the 20 period 5-minute moving average support is 957.02. The bulls want to hold that level to remain strongest. Lose that level, and we're looking down at 955.06. High of the dump day was 960.99, and we're forming a lower high compared to that level right now. TWLO is all bulls. Very strong turnaround from the lows. Lots of resistance the past 3 days, 25, 14, 16, and 32. Coming up to those 3 resistance levels, a break of 25, 32 will show strong follow-through on this oversold bounce. NVDA is an ascending triangle pattern on the 5-minute time frame. Although we did just break the low. So we just broke the higher low pattern on the 5-minute. We have a double top at the high of the day. So I would be cautious bullish, potential shift bearish, and if we see the market consolidate a bit from here, after SPY is rejecting from the 100 period hourly resistance, then we will be looking at NVDA to head towards its low of the day. We just pulled back and formed a higher low compared to the low of the day, but only by 28 cents. So the low of the day is right nearby here on NVDA. Resistance is the 20 period 5-minute of 137.26. Amazon's heading to test the high of the day, just 50 cents shy of that level right now. So SPY is consolidating. Support is 238.15, and then we look to the 20 period 5-minute moving average support, which is at 237.83 and trying to catch up. BABA is off the high of the day significantly, down $2. So I'm going to wrap up the morning webcam here. Bulls certainly in control today, and it's really just going to keep watching that hourly resistance on SPY, the 100 period, 238.50 now. If the bulls can keep the 20 period 5-minute moving average, they will remain in control on SPY. Amazon's going for the high of the day. Apple's not far off from the high of the day, so a lot of these bulls are holding up. The biotech sector is bearish, completely turning around, but the financial sector and the tech sector are holding up just fine. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you have a good Friday, and I'll be back in 15 minutes to continue coverage in the chat room.